G'day, Steel Nation. Welcome back to the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate. And today, guys, we're talking about yet again, the offense. It's the hot topic in the room, man. It really is. This offense is poor right now. Whether you see it being personnel, players, coaching, top to bottom, man, it's really poor. But there is one guy out there that we all know very, very well, and that is Big Ben Roethlisberger. Now, Big Ben was a quarterback for over, 16, 17 years, Hall of Famer, two-time Super Bowler, and he went to the Super Bowl 3 times, right? He's a king. He's one of the best to ever play for the black and gold. But I was listening to, and I found this article as well. So I listened to the Footballin', I think it's Footballin' podcast or Big Ben's podcast on YouTube. I believe it's called Channel 7. I was listening to that. Listen to bits of it here and there. To me, the podcast is quite long. It can be very long, but it's a good podcast if you like football and if you like Big Ben. But I did find this article, and I will link this in the description too. And this talks about, this is from, my apologies, this is from SteelerNation.com, like a sports blog article. I will link this in the description and give shout out to Bob Quinn, the staff writer there who wrote this. And they're talking about what Big Ben said on the podcast. All right, I'm just going to grab the quotation marks, what Big Ben said, and give you my thoughts on what I think what's going on. If you're playing at home, what are your thoughts on the situation too? So Big Ben does his podcast called Footballin' with Spence, and they talk everything. And pretty much right now, it is the offense. Is it Matt Canada? Is it the players? What is happening? Is it Kenny Pickett? In my opinion, it all starts with Matt Canada, and he needs to call a better game. But let's hear what Big Ben is saying about the offense. Now, in the podcast, somewhere in the podcast, he says, I thought they started really well. Kenny Pickett looked good, and Najee Harris ran hard. He did. Kenny Pickett did start out very well. It was a very good first half. There was a lot of improvement on the offense, and Najee was playing okay. The first half looked really, really good. You go in a halftime with a lead, and that's the part that hurts. Like, you go in halftime with a lead at 20-17, and you still couldn't get it done in the second half. That's the part that hurts me the most. We always talk about that double score. I know Charlie Batch talked about it. Even if it is three, and you'll take 3 points, right? That's what he says. It's almost 3 points. They come out of the second half, and they go 3 and out. And that's the big problem I have, Steeler Nation, is you have the whole time being the whole halftime to adjust, and you come out and you throw a screen to DJ. It doesn't make any sense. You have 15, 20 plus minutes to go over your material, go over your game plan, see what worked in the first half, and you throw a screen to DJ that doesn't work. That's why I don't like the Matt Canada offense. I can't stand it. There's no rhythm or rhyme or reason to it. It's just boring, incompetent offense. Now, let's move on. And it seems like Big Ben doesn't agree either. He says here, I thought the second half, the third down conversion rate went way down. It definitely did. Roethlisberger continued. Maybe it is the defense figuring it out, right? And we talked about that the other day with the Bengals player, the Bengals linebacker, Jermaine Pratt came out and said, well, we knew exactly what they were doing, right? If the defense knows what they're doing, you're doing exactly, they're going to figure it out and take advantage. That's what they did. TJ Watt makes a play, an interception. Fantastic interception, by the way. TJ Watt loves doing that play. He almost fakes the rush, jumps up, and gets... How do you teach that? You can't teach that. It's like Troy-esque making that play from TJ. And then you don't do anything with it. That's pretty bad too. You make a big play on the defense. TJ runs up, jumps up, and gets it. An interception. That is demoralizing for a defense. And it bloody well should be. It should be demoralizing. Do all the hard work, you get the interception, and the offense does nothing. Now, I'm not saying the defense, they didn't play their best on last Sunday either. They allowed 37 points. They don't get away with it either. Right? Big Ben continues. I thought Kenny played a good game. I really do. He says, I thought Kenny played a good game. He did some really good things. He did miss a guy at the seam for a touchdown, but that's going to happen. And of course, it's going to happen. It's all growing pains of being a rookie. Every single rookie that plays in the league goes through growing pains, goes through the transition of like college football to the big wide world of the NFL football or National Football League. And like, what am I doing here? How do I get better every week? That's what it is. Now, he continues, I feel like there were some maybe ill-timed plays. That can happen. We got behind the sticks. We always get behind the sticks. Whether it was execution or play calls. To not be in there, I hate to comment on something without knowing it. And that's a fair point. He does bring up, Big Ben does bring up, was it the execution? Was it the players on the field making the plays? Or was it the actual play calls? And Big Ben backs it up and says, well, he doesn't know. He doesn't know without being there, right? But as a fan, what I see is I put the major blame on Canada, and it comes down to him not working with his personnel well enough. That's what I see. But Big Ben says, you know what? I'm not there, so I can't comment. And you got to respect that, okay? Some of the stuff was like, he grunts. I don't know. It lacks something in the second half. It definitely lacks something in the second half. They played poorly in the second half. It was awful to see. It was like a train wreck from the first half. Big train wreck. Now, his last point. The offense was on the sideline so much. They were losing their rhythm, said Big Ben. When you were going 3 and out, George Pickens has proven that he can make plays down the field. If you see him one-on-one or single high safety, let it go, make it happen. Now, the 3 and outs were frustrating as ever, like beyond frustrating. The second half, we lost control of that game. The Steelers tend to do this. They can't play a full game of football. The first half, you had the lead. You're playing some good football. The second half, they went 3 and out 4 times in a row. And I believe in that 4 times, they made about like 10, 12, 15 yards. They went nowhere. Absolute nowhere. Now, he does make a good point too, where there's a little bit of pressure on Kenny Pickett. George Pickens has proven that he can make plays down the field. If you see him one-on-one, single high, let it go, make it happen. Now, is that on Kenny Pickett that he can't throw that football down the field to George? Or is that on Matt Canada and this system that are not allowing Kenny to do that? Are they saying to Kenny pre-snap or during the training or the training week, the session before the game, hey, by the way, let's just go what you're comfortable with, and maybe that's going to be the short passing game. Either way, they're not executing on anything. They're not executing on the short passing game, the screens, the reverses, the stuff like that, And I'm sorry, lastly, this is I think this is the last one. Yes, it is the last one. Remember, guys, SteelerNation.com. I'll share the article in the description. Big Ben says this. Maybe I'm biased, but I think they need to go to DJ more, get him involved more, right? He's a special football player. He can make things happen. You got to get him involved. I'd like to see Pat Freiermuth more involved and DJ more involved in the passing game. And I agree with that. I would like to see actually Pat Freiermuth much more involved in the passing game. But we saw that in this game too. We saw that late in the fourth quarter where they came down from nowhere, trying to get back in the game down by 2 scores. Sure, it was never going to happen. But we saw that Kenny to Freiermuth connection. It was fantastic to see. And we saw that in the first half too, Kenny to Freiermuth on that one big play where he rolled out and gave Freiermuth a chance. And as he ran up, he was shaking off defenders. They need to get Freiermuth more involved, 110%. And even Big Ben backs it up. DJ as well, he says, okay? But he does conclude with this statement. I don't mean that in a jet sweep kind of way. They gave DJ the football in a jet sweep. It happens far too often. This is not a college game. It's an NFL game. You have to promote the football down the field. These jet sweeps, these dump-off passes don't work in the NFL. They don't overly work. Unless you're Patrick Mahomes with Kelsey and guys like that, with Tyreek Hill back in the day, they can work. But this offense isn't designed to do that. You give the ball and jet sweep to DJ, the defense already knows it's happening. Already knows it's happening. As Jermaine Pratt said, there is one visual out there where DJ ran that, I think it was DJ or Sims, they ran that reverse and got cleaned up 5 yards behind. So, Big Ben says here, I don't mean that in a jet sweep kind of way. I don't like getting those guys involved in jet sweeps. Get the ball down the field. And that, guys, is my biggest issue. my biggest issue. I know I've ranted for a very long time talking about Big Ben's comments, but I see parts of it, right? He's not saying it's is it on the players? Is it on the coach? He's putting himself out of this stuff because he's not in the locker room, right? There needs to be responsibility and blame on both, but I believe it all starts with Matt Canada designing the offense and designing the scheme around your personnel. And in my belief, he doesn't put them in the best chance to win, if that makes sense. He's not using his personnel on the best chance to win. Because if he did put them in the best chance to win, they would be winning games. And they're not winning games. They can't even score, over 30 points. The first time they scored 30 points this season was against the Bengals in a loss, 37-30. Now, the defense isn't a scapegoat either. But let me know in the comments, guys. Do you agree with Big Ben? What are your thoughts on the offense? Let me know. Air your frustration. This is the time that we're making these videos, but it's frustrating to talk about this team. It really is. Now, can they get better? 100% they can get better. But we've been saying that every single week that they can get better. Now, I'm an optimist. I'm a positive guy. I believe they can win all 7 in a row. I really do. I believe you go out there versus Colts and you can beat them. I reckon that can happen. But will it happen? That's the thing. Will this team turn it around? Will the offense and the defense actually call a good game? Call a good game, a full game, get their players and the chance to win, and the players go out there and execute. That's it. That's where it comes down to. That's the bottom line. The whole team needs to do better, 100%. Guys, I'll see you later. Thank you for checking out Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate. You guys have been awesome. If you liked the video, hit that sub, hit that like. I believe that was a good rant. That was good fun. But yeah, hit that sub, hit that like. We'll see you later.